Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about the prospect for actually getting some facts about what the hell Doge is doing as part of a lawsuit against it brought by a broad group in general. Now, recall, we've had a few lawsuits against Doge that in particular have challenged Doge's access to sensitive information systems, want to know what's going on. And the courts have basically said, we can talk about this on the merits, but your motions to enjoin things and freeze the linebackers don't have the proper showing because we're not really sure what's going on there yet. Now, of course, there's a chicken egg problem. And what if they go and violate the Privacy Act in a wholesale way and it would be too late? And that's true. And that's a general problem the courts are wrestling with. But in this case, what the judge, a Republican appointee by John Bates, by George W. Bush, has basically said, you know what, I will entertain a motion on your behalf, plaintiffs, for limited discovery, so then we can move to the sort of determination on the merits, and then maybe I will say, there's a problem here. You found out certain things about who's accessing it and why and what they might do with it and not. Give me some facts here, and to get them, I'm going to give you some limited discovery. That's a pretty big deal. You know, they have operated Doge in sort of mysterious fashion. They've really been duplicitous, literally saying on the one hand in the public sphere all these great things that Elon Musk and Doge are doing, and all this great cost savings and powerful moves, and then in the courts mischaracterizing Musk as just an advisor, doesn't have any official role, really isn't doing anything. It's all the government. So it's a kind of bait and switch. And so the plaintiffs in various suits are saying, you know, don't let them mess with privacy protected data, which they now have access to. And the court here said, look, maybe you can develop some facts briefly. Now, that's normally not what you do in an APA case, which is what the cause of action here is. They acted in an arbitrary and capricious way. They haven't followed administrative procedures. Normally, a judge looks at the record, the written record that the agency acted on. But what written record? What agency action? This is such a constitutional and legal anomaly. They're just out there kind of completely, making trouble and rummaging through everything in the government. So there's not even a normal kind of action to review. So that's another reason that the court said, I'm going to be open to a motion for discovery. And what has happened today is that motion has arrived. It's a motion for expedited, limited, but expedited discovery to try to basically make the case for there being a real risk of Privacy Act or privacy violations of the sort that courts can stop. They have enough concrete possibility there to say, okay, wait a second. So, as the plaintiffs say, assessing our irreparable injury depends on the scope of disclosures by the agencies of this sensitive material that's now stored on their systems. So we want to depose them or get declarations, and we want to know, how are you accessing these records? They've, to date, had just these sort of self-serving declarations that are inconsistent and also with one another and with the public reporting of all the kind of intrusive things they're doing. So we need some quick discovery to really set the table for this. And there are normally discovery is a whole big process that can go on for months, and it's reciprocal. but there are provisions under the rules for just some quick, expedited discovery, usually pretty limited. And that's what the plaintiffs sensibly are asking for. And I think you can expect the judge to grant it. Because really the judge is presented with a sort of series of dodges from DOGE and the whole government, making it seem like, oh, it's not really happening or it's happening elsewhere. And to the extent they've been given certain orders, it's not clear that they're complying. Anyway, they want to say that really the Doge people, they're not, there's no Doge. It's just employees of agencies that they've been detailed. That's a sort of term of art in government. We've sort of lent them to these agencies to basically ransack the data. Go and talk to those agencies, not here. So it really is a kind of whack-a-mole game that, in order to just make initial inroads on to try to get the court's hands around what's happening, and if there's a risk, they need to really, be able to depose people under oath, get papers, get memos, and the like. Quick, expedited, discreet, but enough to really set up a claim on the merits. So, an important development for what's so far been pretty much a completely frustrated effort to just figure out what the hell is going on with this apparently most powerful of government agencies, or they don't want to call it that, most powerful of government forces in the person of Elon Musk and his merry band of marauders with all kinds of personal financial interests and the like. It is really something. You don't need to know the law to know we've got a right to understand what the hell is going on and what he who stands to profit in so many ways from having sensitive information plans to do with it, and be in a position to stop him before he does. Hopefully the discovery will set up those arguments before Judge Bates and move things forward quickly enough so that he's in a position that he is not in now to say, okay, you've made the showing to me, plaintiffs. There's a problem here, and I'm going to order Doge not to do stuff. For now, by the way, through the agreement of the parties, Doge has agreed not to be disseminating things. But really there's no kind of legal coercion in place saying don't do it. And that's what the plaintiffs hope to obtain. And the discovery is a really important step in doing so, not to mention just giving them and the country some information about these elves working behind the scenes in ways that might be really deleterious to the public interest. Now, at the moment, there's an agreement in place that Doge is not going to be able to ransack DOL, that's all this Department of Labor sensitive information, but the court hasn't granted any kind of actual injunction, finding, as other courts have, it's just not, far enough along. But this discovery is going to give the information about who has it, what are they doing with it, what do they intend to do with it, and the like. So therefore, they can actually move to a hearing on whether to grant a preliminary injunction and freeze it. And, the plaintiffs have all this information, for example, that the White House has ordered Doge to have access to things all over the government, especially this Department of Labor data, but they need some more, and that's what this limited discovery will provide. Now, so what the judge has done is set a motion schedule and said, file your motion for limited discovery. By the way, you can also, government, file a motion to dismiss to get rid of the whole thing. I'll decide that also. But in the meantime, I'll decide this motion for limited discovery, and then we will proceed, if I grant it, to actually determine preliminary injunction or not, all in very kind of expedited, not crazy madcap fashion, but expedited fashion over the next, say, 4 weeks or so. The schedule's been set out. So the development today is the first part of that schedule. Here is the motion for expedited discovery. Here is why we need it. It's a strong motion, and the judge already had indicated he would be receptive to it. So I think you can expect him to grant it, and you can expect the plaintiffs and hopefully the American people to have some kind of light onto, and sworn reliable information onto what the DOGE is doing behind the scenes with all this information that the White House has ordered various agencies to provide. A really important, and I think for so many Americans, this is an issue that really strikes home. What the hell is Elon Musk doing with my social security number and other sensitive information? Hopefully we find out at least some pretty good preliminary information about exactly that. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.